pack of foundling gypsies at the old brewery and promising to take her away from the slums. Pity he didn't mention at the time that away only meant adjacent. I stared at the back of his head as he bent to his work, hating the thinning, greasy hair that lay there. Lying bastard. "Now you work for the Irish?" the sailor asked, shooting a wary glance at the clover stamped on the back of Jordan's hand. I had a similar one on the side of my right breast. Nah. Jordan hated the suggestion he worked for anyone but himself. But they make good neighbours. Bullshit. The Irish gang, the Dead Rabbits, were not good neighbours, and Jordan and I were as thoroughly in their pocket as every other business that backed onto Mulberry Street. He gave them gang signs, the Dead Rabbit or the Clover. I gave them readings and they took a cut and chose not to bash our heads in. "How's it work then?" The sailor watched the cards sailing through my fingers, mesmerised. Customers liked the sleight of hand. I cut the deck and laid the cards before him. "Turn the tab 3. He did so. I read for him, saying the phrases I knew pleased Jordan the most. If I could work in that a tattoo would get this poor sucker a woman, so much the better. It barely mattered what I said, though. Now that I was sitting close, the sailor's eyes never left my skin, skimming the edges of the short-sleeved, low-cut dress Jordan preferred me to wear in the shop. "You'll be lucky on Friday if you place a bet." His eyes found the tiger on my left shoulder. "You've got a good chance at success for whatever you try your hand in." They travelled to the Chinese dragon on my right wrist as I pointed at the sun card. "You're going to draw someone to you, a lover of great desires and passion." They settled on the Wheel of Fortune below my collarbone. I didn't need to look up from the Page of Pentacles to feel Jordan's anger throbbing nearby. If the boy looked away from my chest, we might be able to move on. "These all your work, then?" he asked Jordan. I stiffened. "All mine." Jordan's voice was dangerous and soft as velvet. The sailor didn't notice. "Never seen a girl with so many like that." His eyes were still on my wheel. I started to sweat. "Never seen a girl with any, apart from people in the West Indies. She lets you do it?" "Of course. She likes it." I had liked it. In the beginning, I would have done anything for him. He was so handsome and kind, and he worked so carefully and gently, whispering how the pain would soon be over and how beautiful I'd look. He'd followed it with kisses and caresses until I didn't feel the difference. Pain and love, it was all together. Then, later on, he'd wanted to ink me in places people would see. That's when the problems had started. "Likes it?" The sailor's eyes were wide. "Good God, if I could find me a woman who liked pain." This boy doesn't know what he's doing, I thought. He doesn't know what he's costing me. If I could have, I'd have stared him dead in the eye and told him to shut his fucking mouth, but looking at him was the worst thing I could do. I stared instead at the sweet-faced page boy on the card, his pink skin grubby now from my fingers, his cup yellow, and the sea behind him blue as ink. I wondered where I would have to go to see water that blue. "Say, you don't—" I felt it before he said it, that this pause before he spoke would ruin my day. "Lease her out, do you?" He sounded so hopeful. I could almost have laughed. He had no idea the man standing beside him had a gun under the floorboards and a fighting reputation. I held my breath. "Not for sale." Jordan's voice was so sharp now, even the boy noticed. I felt his stiffening posture in front of me and stilled. "Go upstairs, Florence." Didn't need to tell me twice. I grabbed my cards and my coat and fled up the sloping stairs, letting the bedroom door click behind me. I waited beside it, listening. He was either going to kill him or take all his money and kick him out. He might finish up the tattoo before he did either. Jordan never liked to leave a job incomplete. I found I didn't care much what happened. For me, the end result was the same. It was always my fault. I sat on my side.